My name is Miriam Sager. I live in Ward 1, and my primary concern is about the climate emergency. That is what I signed up to delegate about. I was thinking about the very modest staff request for 2 additional staff members for the Climate Change Initiative office. We all know that skilled and talented and motivated as people might be, 4 staff for this office is not much at all, especially considering that the task is really urgent and that we can only expect it to get bigger and worse. Mitigation, adaptation, and responding to changing conditions will be a huge task. So please do respond to this request and anything else they might need. I also want to support the care fair suggestion that was presented to us in great detail a moment ago. I assume that is part of a graduated approach to moving towards free transit for everyone and better transit so that people aren't having to wait in extreme heat or other extreme weather for transportation. So this was my original plan for delegating, but then this came out last week, and I hope you've all had a chance to read it and perhaps reread it. I'm grateful to the groups that have put this together. It represents the work of hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals who've not only done the research and writing, but have put in years of looking directly at problems that are not comfortable to look at, caring enough to do this, organizing to do something about it, advocating on behalf of marginalized groups, and sometimes self-advocacy, which can be even harder to do, and cooperating with others in complicated situations, which is a skill that we will all have to learn to have more and more as conditions worsen, which we can expect them to. It's not a random list of organizations that have banded together to create this. There are equity-seeking or supporting groups, and there's environmental and climate groups. And what's the connection? Like, why are they put together? Maybe that's obvious, but I want to make the point that the interaction is striking. Climate and equity are inseparable. The marginalized in our society are those who will suffer the most, or already suffering from extreme climate, from heat waves, the lack of access to green spaces, lack of air conditioning, a private vehicle, and so on. Just about all of the groups that are discussed in this document, women, people with disabilities, the unhoused for sure, people targeted by hate, including, among others, anti-Black hate and racism, anti-Indigenous racism, LGBTQ plus folks, they're more likely to be living in poverty without access to, as I said, resources that can help suffer less when things get extreme. And hate and violence against women and other groups are likely to increase in times of pressure, social pressures on people, certainly in times of disaster. There's recorded evidence of that. It would be a good idea to solve those problems before things actually deteriorate more significantly. Prevention, in this case, will be much easier than dealing with things after they happen. I imagine that a good number of you counselors wish that you could do everything that's here. Close to your heart, really want to do it, but there's all these constraints. Where's the money going to come from? There's all these regulations from other levels of government. So I request the feisty spirit that we've seen from Council last year around urban sprawl, standing up, perhaps cooperating with other municipalities, and you have us behind you. There's a big movement of people here who will move to support brave decisions by this council. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Any questions for Miriam? Seeing none, we thank you again for presenting here today.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Our next speaker, councillors.